Welcome to the July edition of North St. Paul Notes. I'm your guest host, Joe Cullen. Coming up in the next half hour, we'll bring you our entire show from Casey Lake Park to see a special playground being constructed. Stay tuned. North St. Paul Notes is straight ahead. Welcome back to our show here from Casey Lake Park. We're here to talk about the building of Janie's Playground. And to start things off with, I'm here with Tony Zahradka, a North St. Paul resident. And Tony, can you tell me a little bit about Janie's Playground and how this all came about?
Yeah, well, it's really been kind of a grassroots movement after Janie passed away. You know, people said, oh, you get a lot of flowers, and we'd like to do something more productive than that, especially since there'd be a lot of money spent on that. So we asked people for memorials when she passed away, and we had about $5,000. And we got a letter in the mail saying they're trying to raise money for the North St. Paul Parks. And we brought Janie here quite often, probably 2 or 3 times a week. And the playground here was not very nice. She still loved it and enjoyed it and crawled all over it every time, but we really thought it'd be nice to have something more tangible, a nice tot lot, something for smaller children, something really nice that we could use. Oftentimes we would actually go to Stillwater to Teddy Bear Park, and that's about a 25-minute drive from our house. So when we got that money, we told the city we had about $5,000. We want to donate to them. And they said, well, you know, if you guys really want to fix up Casey Lake Park, maybe you can do a little bit more. And it just kept growing and growing and growing. And a few months ago, we donated $34,000. And since then, we've raised over $10,000 again from selling benches and bricks for the playground here.
Now, I should mention for our people listening, obviously, Janie was your daughter, and she, I believe, passed away at 18 months?
Yes, she passed away. She was 18 months old. She was perfectly healthy, and we woke up one morning and she was gone. And they actually never found a cause of death. So.
And as you mentioned, she loved going to parks, so you guys, in lieu of flowers and stuff, thought that a great way to honor her memory would be to have a playground in her honor. And yeah. I'm sure, it'll warm your hearts to see tons of kids using this here.
Oh yeah, I mean, she loved the place. She loved the outdoors. Very, very happy baby. I mean, I can see her running around here. I used to sit right by the tree right there, and I'd watch her in the park running all over. And it was very large for her. I mean, she passed away at 18 months, so even when she started walking around a year, we'd come here and she'd climb, and it was very unsafe. There was a lot of dull ends, a lot of rusty things too large for her. So we really wanted to make something smaller and more accessible for small children.
Yeah, that'll be great. And just from the looks of it, I mean, it's stuff great for young children. Older kids will love this too. Looks like a lot of fun slides. And
yeah, so it's actually a tot lot here. This is for younger children, and then the older children, 7 to 12. You can see the tall tree house and the twisted slide. And I mean, it's really going to be an amazing thing. And there's not a park like this in the state of Minnesota. So it's going to be a really unique place.
This whole week you've been out here, with volunteers doing construction on this. We're here kind of towards the end of the week. Tell me about that process. How hard has it been to get people and to do all the work this week?
Yeah, it's been some long days. I'm on my 4th 15-hour day. So we're here from sunrise to sunset. We've had a great bunch of volunteers. We've had baseball teams. We've had construction classes, some school groups, some softball teams. We've had corporations, especially Target Corporation, U.S. Bank, Anchor Bank, and North St. Paul is here today. They've helped us along the way with our fundraising and things like that. So we've got a lot of groups, a lot of retired craftsmen have come out, especially from the community, and they've been instrumental. Because as you can see, there are some very complicated things, and none of this equipment comes here. All has to be built. It all comes from the wood and turns into that. So you really need some people that have some skill and know what they're doing.
Well, I saw you guys had a website where people were able to sign up for shifts, and it looked like you needed obviously people who are skilled, who know what they're doing, but also people who maybe aren't as great with tools but can still help out, or people that can help out. I know you have a little area where people can get refreshments, even to help out that way is a big help.
Yeah, you know, we tell people anyone can come, and when people ask who can help, I said, well, we need people who are skilled and people who are unskilled. Hopefully you fit in one of them categories.
Great.
And that's just about everyone.
Now understand, this weekend, we're taping this kind of in late June, but on the Saturday here, you're going to have a ribbon cutting at 5 o'clock.
Yep, we're going to have a ribbon cutting, a grand opening, all the dignitaries from the city of North St. Paul, everyone that's helped, all the volunteers, lots of children are going to come, and we're going to test it out and see how it works.
Now, I know in the midst of all this, your wife is pregnant and is due pretty much any time, so I imagine that's added an extra layer of maybe stress or just uncertainty during this week.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say this whole thing has been a huge undertaking for me and my wife Sarah, especially. She's 9 months pregnant, the baby's due any day, and she's really been instrumental in the organization and the meetings, and you know, it's almost hard to believe how much work and effort goes into a project like this, especially when it's a community build, volunteers to food donations to materials donations. You know, we've had so many generous people donate, generous companies. Home Depot donated a bunch of the wood for the pergola. You know, Fastenal donated all the screws, all the restaurants in the area. Many of them have helped. So it's been really, really great.
So I imagine it'll be fun, you know, once a child that you're about to have is old enough to come down here and to know that not only did you help raise money for it, but that you also, with your hands, helped construct this.
Yeah, it's really going to be a special thing to have our future children come here, and I think almost every person that's worked here has said, I can't wait to bring my children here, or even people that don't have children, they say, I can't wait till I have children so I can bring them here. So the people really take a sense of ownership on this. It's something they've worked on, and they want to see it completed, and they want to see it very nice, and they want to see it be used by other people in the community.
Well, that's great. And, you know, have there been any parts of the construction that have kind of surprised you that were easier than you thought it would be, or more challenging?
Well, you know, there's been some really hard carpentry, some really angles and some things I said, whew, not sure if I can do that, but we've had some great volunteers, some people in their retired people in their 60s and 70s, been working 15 hours a day, and that's just amazing. So I'm exhausted at the end of the day, and it's really been great to see them, how hard they've worked, and people coming back day after day. You know, it looks pretty nice now, but all these holes had to be dug, all the footings had to be put in, and there was some really, really hard work. And even those people that were sweaty and dirty at the end of the day, they still came back again and volunteered, and that's been really special to see.
Well, that's great. Yeah, as I mentioned, you know, you guys have been out here since Monday? Is that
yes,
correct?
yes.
This is Thursday morning, so obviously a lot of work has already been done.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's going to look great on Saturday for the grand opening of it. And, you know, just a few minutes we're going to talk with your wife, Sarah, but is there anything else that you'd like us to know before we do that?
No, I think that's about it.
Just encourage the public to come on down and bring their kids.
Encourage everyone to come down. Please use the park. You know, for anyone, this is the whole area. You know, North St. Paul people, no matter, I think people will come to this park probably from great distances. Yeah. So anyone that sees this, more than welcome to come down and use it. I know Janie would be happy to see other children using it and having a good time.
Well, yeah, like you said, I mean, you obviously used to drive to Stillwater for a park. I, the parent of a young child, and I know we'll travel distances too to find new parks and sometimes try out different ones. So I'm sure my son will be using these slides as well. And want to wish you the best of luck with everything, and it was really nice meeting you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much. And we'll be right back in just a minute to interview Tony's wife, Sarah, to find out more about Janie's playground.
They say that when you're facing extreme danger, your life flashes before you. If you think that's sad, consider facing it before you even have enough life to flash before your eyes. Car crashes are a leading killer of children 1 to 13. Deaths and injuries can be prevented by using the right car seat. Visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat to know what is appropriate for each age and size.
And welcome back to our special episode where we're here from Casey Lake Park to witness the construction of Janie's playground. Right now I'm here with Tony's wife, Sarah Zahradka. And Sarah, thanks for joining us.
Thanks so much.
We just, earlier in the show, chatted with your husband a little bit, so now we're excited to get your thoughts on Janie's playground. And we talked a lot with him about the construction of this, but he also mentioned, you know, obviously funds had to be raised to even get this project going. Tell me a little bit about that fundraising.
Well, you know, it started when Janie passed away last fall. When we went to go have her memorial service, we didn't want to end up with a house full of hundreds of flowers, because that's what was going to happen, especially when a child dies. So we asked for memorials, and we thought that we would donate the money to a medical research once we knew the cause of her death. And because she died of SUDC, or sudden unexplained death in childhood, it took the medical examiners close to 8 weeks for us to get the final verdict. And by the time that had happened, we had received a brochure in the mail from the North St. Paul Park Fund explaining private donations were accepted to help improve the parks. And it was kind of like kismet. It was one of those moments where you realize the money that had given to us from the funeral, which was about $5,000, wouldn't go too far in medical research, but it would go really far in a local community. And it was just Tony and I looked at each other. We knew it was the right thing to do, to build something small and safe that a small toddler could play on. At the time, we would bring her to Casey Lake, but the play structure was over 20 years old. It was rusting. It was unsafe. Kids of that age put everything in their mouth, and you don't want any of that there. And the structures were incredibly high, 7-foot platforms, which is openings, which is completely unsafe for a 1 or 2 year old. And we contacted the park board and we said, we want to give this $5,000 to you guys to build something. And the minute we started telling friends and family and coworkers, what are you doing with the money? We said, we're going to build a playground. And they said, well, I want to donate too. And it became $10 here and $20 there, to $500 donations from people we didn't know that had saw our story on the news, to $1,000 donations, and every $10 added up, and it ended up being around $34,000, a little over that we ended up donating to the city. That was fundraised around from friends, family, and the community. So once that happened, the city really kind of stepped up and said, we want to help make this thing a reality. Let's not just make it a small structure. Let's remake over the whole playground. And that's when it got really exciting.
Yeah, I mean, what a great thing that you can do it in Janie's honor. And, you know, I'm sure we mentioned with Tony that you're pregnant right now and ready to give birth very soon. So I imagine when you have your son and someday take him here, it'll be a nice way for him to enjoy, but also to honor Janie's memory.
Well, yeah, and he'll never know his sister. So this will be a nice way for him to feel connected to her, for sure.
And now, you know, as we can see behind us here today, we have, you know, tons of volunteers. And I've mentioned earlier in the taping that we're taping this on a Thursday. People have been out here since Monday.
You got it.
You know, how does it make you feel to look around and see, you know, such a wide range? I've been impressed. I've seen, you know, young, you know, students. I've seen, you know, people that are retired, senior citizens.
Yep. Everyone in between.
Tell me about that.
It's really humbling. You know, I think the best part of this whole process isn't that we're going to end up getting this wonderful playground. It's the people we've met in the progress of doing it. We've met neighbors, we've met people who had no idea who Janie was have come out and said, this is the right thing to do and this is what needs to be done. And we've made new friends out of it. We've made a stronger community out of it, I think. At the end of the day, this only makes the community stronger because everybody's blood, sweat, and tears are in this, and everybody wants to see that this stays nice and stays safe for kids for years and years and years to come. And it's just humbling to see all these people putting their own hard work and their own hours of their day and their own vacation time off to come out here and help us make our dream a reality, but in turn, you know, make something beautiful for the neighborhood. Yeah,
well, to know that, you know, in this day and age, people are busy and everything, but that people do still care and they want to get involved, especially something like this that's kind of more at the grassroots level, and to also then see the city involved. I know on our show here, we've been hearing about the North St. Paul Park Board for many years, but to see it kind of all come together like this has to be really exciting for everyone.
It is, and you know, I tell people all the time, we started working on this in November, and here it is June. I mean, what is about 8 months we've been working on this. It's got to be one of the fastest timelines ever turned for a park, and we get asked a lot, how did it happen? And they said it wouldn't happen if we didn't live in this community in North St. Paul. We're small enough to make an impact, but large enough to impact the greater good. And I think that's been the most humbling thing, is from the mayor to the city council, everybody has just been so nice, and they're out here putting their own sweat and tears too. It's not just like a large city where everyone's kind of disconnected. It just really makes you appreciative of being in this community even more so than I already was before. So.
Well, I'm guessing, you know, I noticed you have a website where people were able to go up and sign up to volunteer. It didn't look like you had really any shortage of people wanting to volunteer.
No, and honestly, you know, it started with a sign-up sheet so we knew how many people were coming. But then we get people every day that just show up and said, I just saw your story, I kind of wanted to help. And that's been the greatest thing, is we just kind of get a little bit of everybody. And it's been pretty full shifts. I mean, 40 to 50 people a shift since at least Tuesday, so it's been pretty great.
And at least today, blessed with some nice weather, so that definitely
We're hoping it
helps.
holds out, yes.
Yeah, and I noticed too, you even have a little area where you have volunteers serving some, you know, snacks and beverages and everything to.
Very fortunate, a ton of local food service industry, restaurants, fast food restaurants, catering places have stepped up and donated food to help feed all these volunteers to keep their energy up. And people donated water, and we've just had local residents come by and make brownies and bars and cookies for the volunteers, and of course those fly off the shelf, you know. So every little bit people have come together in whatever way they can help, and that's been wonderful. So
I understand Tony mentioned earlier that, you know, you've had volunteers even from corporations such
Yes.
as like Target. I've seen people right now from US Bank are here.
Yes. We have a huge shift to Target people coming out here this afternoon. We've had Target people every day. Kinder Care saw our story on the news, and they volunteered almost 70 staff that have come out all week, which is wonderful. And US Bank and Anchor Bank are here today, and just been wonderful. Just how nice people want to help in their own way. You know, not everyone can donate money, but people can donate time, and it's been a great effort of seeing everyone come together.
I understand at the end of the week here, you'll be having kind of an official ribbon cutting, kind of grand opening for the park. Can you tell me what you are hoping to expect from that event?
Well, I'm hoping lots of children. We're really excited for the kids to be able to enjoy this, because at the end of the day, that's who it's for. We want it something fun for them, that they're excited and they want to tell mom and dad, let's go back to that cool park with the tree houses, you know. So we're hoping to see a lot of kids, a lot of families, a lot of people who had their hands on this project, who maybe worked Monday but didn't know how it looked come Saturday. We want to see everybody out here, and when the ribbon cuts, I'd love to see just children running for their favorite piece, which I'm guessing is going to be some of the swings and slides and tree houses, but that's kind of what we want to see. We're pretty excited about it.
I know this is, obviously, an emotional subject for you to talk about, but do you think, this whole process, even with raising the money or when it first was just an idea to even do this now, I mean, does that kind of help, do you think, with some of the healing for you and your husband?
For sure. I mean, sometimes it's hard, you have to talk about it a little bit more, but rather than people talking about your grief, they're talking about something positive, rather than talking about how are you doing, they're asking how the playground is going, and it's a way to kind of transfer grief into a different form that we know is positive. We don't have to sit in our house and feel sorry for ourselves. We can still have a way to express our grief, but in a way that's helping people and that's making this a better place, and Janie would have wanted that, so yeah. For sure.
I definitely can't say that you guys aren't busy right now this
Yeah.
time of year between getting ready to give birth and
Yeah.
having this park and everything, so I'm sure you guys will look forward to maybe things slowing down a little bit.
You know what, it was the first day before it's opening, I could barely sleep. It was like Christmas morning, but once this is all said and done, we're going to be able to drive by and feel really good about the work and the energy and effort we put behind this, and so is everybody else who's out here working on this. And I just think we'll look forward to a slower July. I don't think it can be much heavier pace than this, but we're gonna probably take lots of walks with the new baby down here and enjoy watching children play on the playground.
All right, well, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.
And we certainly look forward to seeing the completed project.
Well, thank you guys so much. Thanks again.
Thanks a lot. And we'll just take another short break. When we come back, we'll chat with Terry Furlong from the Park Board for the City of North St. Paul.
Listen now, can you hear the bluebirds? Oh, look up now, can you feel the sun?
And welcome back to our special episode here from Casey Lake Park for the construction of Janie's Playground. I'm now joined by Terry Furlong. He's a member of the North St. Paul City Council, as well as the liaison from the city for the Park Board. Terry, thanks for joining me today.
Thanks, Joe. Appreciate it.
And we've already interviewed the Zahradkas and kind of gotten the backstory of how this all came to be. But can you first tell me about, when the city first became aware of what Tony and Sarah wanted to do with the park?
Well, it's kind of interesting because we had just sent out a park fund. We have a park fund for the city of North St. Paul, and we just had completed a brochure. So we sent it out in the mailing, and they received it almost the day after the memorial. So they wanted something to do with their money, and they got this park brochure, and they thought, what better way than to donate to the park fund and hopefully be able to do something nice in the park. As Sarah said, that there wasn't a apparatus down here for her child, for her age group. So that was kind of the start of it, and it kind of snowballed from there.
Now, you mentioned the Park Fund. For those who aren't familiar with it, what exactly is that?
So a Park Fund was started a few years ago, the city of North St. Paul, where people could actually donate to the Park Fund, and all the money goes back into the parks, and it's kind of controlled by the Park Commission. So we have a little control of a little money that we can build shelters, Eagle Scout projects, things that can not have a huge impact, but can do some certain things in the parks.
So this obviously getting, this large donation was kind of, I'm sure, something that's a little different for you guys, but what an exciting time to get something that the whole community will really benefit from.
Right, and Casey Lake, it was an old apparatus that was down here, so it was kind of in our short list to try to get something down here. So it was just kind of a blessing that we were able to secure that money, and the Park Fund actually donated $20,000 on top of the money that they donated, and then the city's making up the difference.
That's great. And, it's been kind of inspiring to see the wide array of volunteers here. Everything from youngsters to people are retired, but then to also have people like yourself, and I've seen other city staff and people like that out here. I imagine it must be pretty inspiring for you to even be able to be out here and help.
It's exciting because it brings the whole neighborhood together. It brings community together. We're meeting people out here that have been residents here for a long time and really didn't know them, and it just sparks a real interest to the park and an interest to each other. So pretty neat.
And what kind of stuff have you been doing out here? We've seen you kind of out and about working.
I've been holding the babies, politicking. No, I'm just kidding. I actually worked on the slide last night. That was quite the bear. We had quite a few people worked on it for 4 hours, just trying to put two pieces together. And everything isn't snapped into place like it should be. So we spent a lot of time on that. And then today we're building a climbing wall. So there's a lot of neat things that are being built: climbing walls, slides, poles, swings. So pretty exciting.
Pretty exciting.
Yeah.
And what do you think this means for the future? With some of the parks, you hope that this will inspire other people to maybe want to kick in some money.
I think the Park Fund. There have been a lot of nice donations to it, but I think it will inspire people because the money is controlled by a park commission, and money goes all back into the parks. You know, we've been building some structures down at Silver Lake, Tower Park, Housey Park. So we've been able to replace some of these old structures with new structures. So I think the residents of North St. Paul are starting to see a little, you know, nice things happening in their parks.
And I understand you're having a kind of grand open ribbon cutting this weekend. Sounds like there's going to be a nice turnout from the city at that as well.
Yep, Saturday at 5 o'clock. I hope we get a lot of people down here for it. I think a lot of people are excited to see the end product. We've had a lot of people just coming down and bringing lawn chairs and just watching kind of what's going on. So it's kind of neat. A lot of interest in the neighborhood.
I'm sure it'll be fun. I know Sarah kind of called it the running of the kids. They're hoping, you know, cut the ribbon and let the kids,
sure,
you know, get on that park. So I'm sure that'll mean a lot, not only to them, but people like yourself who, you know, put some sweat labor into doing this.
Right, right. A lot of sweat labor.
That's great. And anything else going on with the city, with parks, that you think we should know about?
I think you know, we're possibly looking at a future building down here at Casey Lake that would overlook the lake. I think that's, you know, that's on our radar, that we really want to get done here. We're still in the process of trying to tweak the numbers a little bit, but that's going to be a nice addition to this park. I mean, this park is a regional park. It's, you know, it's a big park. We got a lot of ball fields here. So it gets a lot of use. We got a nice trail around it. So these additions are going to be really nice for our community.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be well used by community, and even talking with the Zahradkas, you know, it's not uncommon. I know myself, I have a young child that people will even travel sometimes just to mix things up, or if they hear of a new park. So I'm sure you'll even get people from other areas that, you know, want their kids to experience this nice park.
Right.
Here.
I think kids get tired of some apparatuses that are the same all the time. So you're right. I mean, they'll come and travel here, because this is going to be kind of a whimsical park, or whatever you call it. So there's a lot of things in here that'll keep kids interested.
Yeah, and maybe as a bonus, maybe they come check out the park and then see the other great things that the city of North St. Paul has to offer.
Right. Casey Lake was stocked with some game fish. So last year it was stocked with some game fish, so hopefully that'll take on a little bit. It doesn't look like a big lake, but it is sustainable for some fish.
Great. Well, Terry, is there anything else you care to add that we haven't touched on?
I'd just like to thank all the residents, all the volunteers, you know, a few corporations that are here helping out, the City Council, the Park Commission. You know, they've been all very supportive in this project, and I think as a community it really helps us all come together and make things happen, good things happen.
Great. And, you know, anything else going on, you know, even just on the City Council that we should be aware of?
There's never anything going on at City Council. So
never a dull moment.
Never a dull moment. No, there's really not a whole lot going on right now. We just got budgets. We have a new city manager working out wonderful, you know, with the city. So he's got some good ideas, very supportive in the council, and I think we're really moving ahead here.
Well, it seems like, you know, from what I've gathered, is, you know, some good harmony amongst the council. Like I said, city manager seems to have fit in real well after having one that, you know, had served for a long time.
Right.
I'm sure that's an adjustment for the council and city staff and everybody, but
right.
He seems to have stepped right in and be doing a great job.
Right.
So.
Right. Council really works together. The mayor's doing a great job, so I think we're on our way to making things happen here in North St. Paul.
Like a bright future for the city.
Yep.
All right, well, I want to thank you so much for your time, and we'll let you get back to work on this great park.
Sounds good. I gotta grab a hammer and start hammering.
Yeah, thanks a lot. And that's all we have time for. Thanks for tuning in, and join us again next month for another new program.